We're going to hop into game one of our best of three here. Our first match of the night, and it's already a banger. It's a good start to the bracket. Spawning in the lower right-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have Team NV's Creator. Very solid Protoss, one of the most solid Korean Protosses. And his opponent in the upper left-hand corner, he's come in second place many a time in GSL. But here at the KSL, he has already won. In fact, the first time he ever played in the KSL, he won it. So, doesn't have to worry about that here. It is soO. Yeah, I'm sad I didn't get to watch the GSL. Apparently, soO is playing fantastically. Which is awesome to hear. He looked really good in the ESL Open Cup last week, too. Like, I feel like he was looking... Oh, God, there was one game. Who was he playing against? Hero, maybe? And he just... It just looked like top-tier soO play. He looked so good. I mean, the whole series was really good, but the game 2 in particular of that series was... It was actually insane. It was some of the best Zerg play I've ever cast. So, excited to see him here against Creator. Creator, I feel like, is a good, like, litmus test for how players are doing. Because Creator is so solid, I feel like he doesn't generally beat people that are, above him. Say, like, a League of Legends ranking or whatever. He also doesn't generally lose to people below him. So he's a nice gatekeeper there. He's also not super likely to do anything really cheeky in a weekly tournament like this. Maybe at a GSL, he can bust out the builds. That should be interesting. It's a tough first round. This is a round of 16 match, and we already have soO versus Creator. That's how you know we have a good bracket, but it also feels kind of bad, man, for one of these guys who's not going to even make it to the round of 8 this week. We also have a Straya versus Nightmare going on in this bracket. And that's another one where it's like, man, if I see these guys in a bracket, I expect them to get into the round of 8. But when the bracket's this stacked, we actually have a very sick bracket this week. I'm very happy. I'm really happy to see people still signing up for KSL. Even though GSL is on, it's going. I feel like we're at this point where players can't necessarily... stop playing for GSL and not worry about other tournaments and stuff like that. Unfortunately, the GSL funding isn't quite what it once was. A Creator able to get a couple of drone kills there. 3 drone kills. Does lose the 2 adepts, but that's kind of expected when they're up there in the main base getting kills. Ling's going to the other side of the map to see what's what, and there's no third base just yet because the Oracle went across the map. As it looks like they saw no Spore Crawler and decided, hey, I can go get a couple more kills, but ooh, just gets out of there. Just barely stays alive. Does get a couple more kills, but it delays the third base here for Creator. If that Oracle had stayed home, I think Creator can just take this. However, now he's got to wait for the second Oracle, wait for the 2 Adepts, make sure they're around. It's just a handful of Lings from soO, so he's not very committed to this at all. Does have 4 Overlords on the way, though. Just pumping out Overlords. Overlords and drones. Who needs anything else? Not soO. Creator going for a 3rd Oracle, and then into the Twilight Council of Forge. Again, kind of the solid standard stuff you expect to see. That is something that, during GSL, I don't think we're going to see too many, like, super out there strategies unless people are, like, practicing with them. Seeing how they work in a tournament setting. But, like, I don't know, I feel like people are going to want to keep their strats close to the chest. So we might see a lot more standard macro play in weeks when there's a GSL going on. I like that Creator. He's got his Oracles split. It makes it a lot more annoying for soO to deal with. As the 2 Oracles are going to come in here. And uh-oh, this Spore Crawler is not ready yet. That is 2 Queens and 2 Oracles. That is a quick 4 kills for them. One of them will go down. They're not going to get that kill as it turns into an Evo Chamber. There was also the delay on the 4th base here, but it looks like soO able to send another drone down there. Get the 4th base done. It kills one of the Oracles, so he's lost a few drones. 10 so far this game. Not too bad here for a Creator, but I don't think soO's all broken up about it. He's still up at 69 workers. 4th base is on the way. Creator's still waiting on that blink and +1. Just going to be warping in units, getting his army going. Doesn't look like he's doing anything too crazy with it. I kind of expect to see a 4th base here for Creator before too long as he's heading into a robo. But he is going to move out. Might try to clear some creep, push these Overlords back. And he's got 2 Adepts with this, so could shade those into the main base and be annoying with them. soO is trying to get some Roaches and Ravagers out. Right now doesn't have a ton of army, so these Stalkers are a little bit scarier than you'd expect them to be. They don't even have Blink yet. But now the Roaches have popped. Queens stay alive. And, you know, just a little pressure. Gets a single Roach kill. Doesn't shade those Adepts in. I thought for sure those Adepts were going in the main. Infestation Pit for soO. It's a very passive game right now. Creator does have Blink and +1 finishing up. He's got that Warp Prism on the way, so he could try to get some damage done here, but not huge on the gateway count. Going into a second robo and a robo bay with the 4th base instead. So I imagine he'll just be poking and prodding here, trying to trim off some of these lings, maybe a Roach or 2 if he can. There are still 2 Oracles in the sky, I believe, so those can help in case soO tries to get a little cheeky with it, but looks like soO's just trying to push him back. And he successfully does push Creator all the way back into his base, which will allow soO to get some of this creep spread going. It's been hindered by Creator, but also just feels like soO hasn't been spreading that much creep so far. But now that he's got a moment to breathe, looks like he's going to send some Tumors out there. A couple of Lings going to check out the situation at the 4th base and find a couple of probes here. Yeah, 1 or 2. It's kind of cute. Forces a warp in. Creator focused on the Oracle micro here, but he is also warping in some Zealots on the other side of the map at this Prism, where soO's trying to take a 5th base. The Queens are here. Those can be good, but I feel like a couple of Roaches might be necessary to help defend this Warp Prism. Oh, the massive Overlords going into the back corner of the base is going to see this Warp Prism. soO needs to respond, though. I don't know if he's spotted it just yet. He's got Hydras out. Oh, that Prism's going in. soO has not responded at all. Creator could warp in some more Zealots here. The Hive just popped. Doesn't look like charge is done, but the Lings will come back in time to clean this up. I think that Queen went down, though. But still pulls the whole army back. It looked like soO was posturing on the map like he wanted to put some pressure on, but this buys more time for Creator. That's exactly what Creator wants to do. He's getting into a bunch of robo units. Got Thermal Lance on the way, 3rd Colossus. He's got Disruptors out. He's getting a very big, very powerful Protoss Death Ball army going. And soO right now doesn't really have an answer for it. His Hive is done, but I haven't seen any Vipers popping out yet. Not seeing any Lurker upgrades on the way or anything like that. So he's just going to be on Ling, Roach, Ravager, Hydra, which is... It's not like a bad composition, but it feels like it needs some extra. It needs some juice. You need something to deal with these robo units, because these robo units will absolutely demolish this army. Especially if a couple of Immortals join underneath here. But the Disruptors are really a big danger, as well as the Colossi. And there's those Vipers in the production tab for soO. But it doesn't feel like Creator wants to give him too much time. He's going to pop the Guardian Shield and push in a little bit. Thermal Lance is not done yet, though, so these Colossi are not all that scary, unfortunately, here for Creator. He's going to dive a little bit further forward. Sends a Disruptor Nova. Oh my god, a massive hit there on the first Disruptor Nova. 6 kills, but I think that was all Hydras. Just a brutal hit, and that's exactly what Creator is looking to do right now, is just find some good value. And We see soO playing very defensively at the moment. There's the lurker den. Doesn't have any run-bys going or anything like that. I would love to see something a little bit aggressive to keep Creator off of his back, because Creator he's getting aggressive here. He's putting down some stasis traps, and he's about to catch all of these roaches that were here to defend. That's not enough roaches anyways. The rest of the army needs to come over. Creator is fully maxed, and he is diving in. The Vipers, they're not here. They're not ready. Where are they? Oh, there's no lurkers either. Nice split there from soO, but he's really struggling with this. There are the Vipers finally, but some force fields go down. There's no biles to take them out. All of the roaches that were trapped die. Finally, some yoinks coming out, some abducts here. The Colossi will get taken out. I don't know if there's any Disruptor Novas left. It doesn't look like it. The roaches from the top side came back into the fight and helped distract some of the stalkers at least. But soO is going to lose a base. He loses 12 workers. Excuse me, 14. And there's Zealots running into the natural now. It looks like soO's reinforcements will be able to clean this up, but it's just buying time for those reinforcements. They're not with the main army right now, and Creator, he is not slowing down. Vipers might need to pull some more units forward. They're trying to be careful against the feedbacks. They were not careful against the feedbacks. Creator nailed both of them, and these Vipers now out of juice. One of them dies. Oh, it's only one Colossus, but it has 21 kills. And it is just growing and growing. These Immortals down here doing work as well. Viper sucking some juice. Lurkers finally on the way here for soO. Ooh, Creator needs to be careful. He either needs to go right now, or I think he needs to pull back. That is a lot of Lurkers, and they have, I think, one of their upgrades. No, not quite yet, but they almost have Seismic Spines. They'll almost have that 10 range. We do have a Mothership on the way for Creator, which means he's got a Fleet Beacon. So we might be seeing a switch into carriers at some point, but I don't know. Part of me feels like he's going to stay on the ground army, just use the Mothership to kind of help support. Whoa, soO burrowing these lurkers, but then leaving them alone. However, Creator doesn't seem to have detection right now, so he's going to walk up this ramp. Does land a nice storm, hits a nice Disruptor Nova, but he's a little bit more than that. I think this is a good position here for soO right now. Would love to see a yoink on this War Prison. It's feeling very vulnerable at the moment. Oh, soO's really disjointed. What is his army doing? He's just sending it across the map. I mean, it's gonna grab this Mothership, but I don't know if that's really worth it. The lurkers are not gonna be enough on their own. They need support. They don't have it. They will all die. Every single lurker goes down, and now it turns into a base trade. But I think this is gonna be much better for Creator. I feel like his army is just stronger. And soO, ooh, he's going to lose a couple more lurkers over here. I mean, a lot of workers going down on both sides. Bases are starting to fall. soO's units are popping out and dying pretty much immediately, which is unfortunate for him. But he's got more lurkers here in the natural. If Creator isn't careful, his army is very spread out right now. He's trying to take out bases. Well, soO gonna try to dive into the natural here. Does yoink a couple of those big hefty boys, the Immortals. A nice storm lands, but soO still has a lot of army here, and it's just Blink Stalkers on the defense right now. Not quite enough on their own. Ooh, Disruptor pops, and it will get a massive hit on the Hydras. And it looks like Creator's gonna be able to defend with that. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, Creator, his army is just too big. It's too strong. I think he can even break this. But at this point, I don't think Creator even needs to try to break that right now. He could just try to trim off the Roach Warren, trim off some of these units that pop out a little too far, maybe send a Disruptor Nova or two forward. He still has this base mining that soO doesn't quite know about. And Creator's got another Mothership on the way. Wow. I don't know if that's the right choice here, but I'll be honest, I don't think any choice is going to be the wrong choice. soO is stuck on what would be two bases if there were minerals left at these two bases, but they're getting very low. He's just about out of mining. His army is 50 supply lower than his opponent's. Oh, this stasis trap. Ooh. Oh, I'm worried about this stasis trap. soO is somehow avoiding the stasis. Oh my god, the drone, the long distance mining drone triggered it. Terrifying. I think Creator's army is just going to be too big. He's got 6 Immortals, 2 Colossi. There's only 1 Disruptor, but he has the ability to make more. And I think that might be a strong choice here. He's pretty tight on money. Like, he still has this mining base down here. Oh, these cannons are a godsend right now. soO trying to avoid, but he won't get that lurker burrowed, and that's just a wasted unit at a moment when soO has pretty much nothing left here. I think there's going to be one more engagement. I don't think it's going to last very long. We have a yoink on the mothership. It's trying to pop the cloaking field. I need some units to cloak. soO does have detection here. This is going a little bit better for soO than expected, but Creator's army is still quite strong. Drop some nice storms. This Viper is solo. If it gets fed back, it will die. Disruptor Nova's going out, getting a couple of hits. I just don't think there's going to be enough here for soO. The lurkers are a little bit too far out of position. It's just a couple of roaches. Oh, there goes the pop on the Viper, and that's going to do it. soO drops the G, and Creator will take game number 1. Kind of a weird choice there from soO. He was breaking down the rocks with his roaches and hydras. He decided to just defend with the lurkers. They do not have the power to defend that entire army, unfortunately for soO. So he ended up in a base trade with just a much weaker army on the other side of the map. Roach Hydra just doesn't have it on its own. It needs help. It needs support, as do the lurkers. I think if soO's army is all together, it's a very difficult fight for Creator to take. Roach Hydra Lurker Viper is incredibly good all together, but once it's split up like that, it just didn't quite work. And now game 2 is going to be on hard lead. Hoping that soO can pull it back and bring us to a game 3. Is that selfish of me? Maybe. Do I want it to be so? Yes, I do. Game number 2, we're on hard lead. In the upper left-hand corner, we have Creator. Again, playing that solid standard play. Nothing really up his sleeves in that one. Just extremely straightforward. Kind of what you expect, honestly. And ultimately, his opponent did the same thing on the other side of the map here. Lower right, we have soO. soO currently teamless. I think we got to get him on a team. Who was it that just joined a team? Shin? Just joined, what was it, Gladiator or something like that? I thought that was cool. Love to see teams that I don't know picking up StarCraft players. It's always positive. Creator sending out a later probe this time. Not going to get a block on a hatchery. He did block the hatchery last game, so interesting change here from Creator to not, I guess, worry about that. The block on the hatchery can be a really nice way to make your, like, Oracle and Adept pressure at the start of the game a little bit more annoying to deal with. Just because those bases are a little further away from each other, but I'm sure Creator knows what he's doing. He is the professional after all. Well, strategy-wise, again, I'm not really thinking there's going to be too much different here, particularly from Creator. I think, if anything, it's going to be on soO to either go for some sort of big counter pressure, something that can take advantage of Creator's, again, safe, solid, standard play, which it's a little tough to do, but it's certainly not impossible. We've seen Dark pull off many a mid-game kill against a Protoss that was just going Oracle into Blink Stalker, and that's exactly what Creator did last game. It looks like this game it's probably going to be Glaive the Depths. So a little bit different here out of Creator, but still many advantages that soO could take. And soO, classically, I always thought of him. So to me, soO is like the ultimate Roach boy. soO was the Roach man. And it's been a long time since I was casting soO back in those days before he did his military service. But man, soO was the lair guy, right? He would sit on lair all day if he had to. I don't think he was like afraid of teching up, but to me, soO's comfort zone is definitely going to be in the mid game. It's definitely going to be heavy Roach play, and I think there's still a lot of viability there. Dark has so many Roach builds that are highly aggressive, sometimes all in, and can really take advantage of a lot of the standard play of Protosses. We've seen it time and time again. And you know what? I mentioned Glaives is actually a Dark Shrine build out of Creator. This is like a classic, absolute. This is so Creator to pull this out in 2024. I can't even begin to tell you. There are very few Protoss players who still do this, but like it's solid, man. This is a solid build. If you just need like some ladder builds in PvZ, dude, you practice this one a handful of times, you're gonna get some good opening pressure. The problem here for soO is that he does have a couple of spores on the way, but no spore in the main base. Oh, this is so nice though. These queens just catching right up to that prism. Now Creator is still gonna be able to warp in the 4 DTs, but now they're going to have a tough time getting into the main base. I say confidently. Oh, he's not even going to worry about the DTs. He is just going straight for Archon drop. So usually you try to get the DTs in and get some damage done first, but Creator, after the Warp Prism was spotted, decided that probably wasn't going to happen. And this counterattack from soO, I mean, that's beautiful. Forces a cancel on the base. Kills the Adept, going to kill the Probe that could rebuild the base. And Creator's now stuck at home. Let's see if the Archons can get comparable damage. It doesn't look like it. The Queens keeping that Warp Prism low on shields, actually doing a little bit of hull damage even. It's going to make it harder and harder for Creator to get something done. And I mean, this defense from soO is stellar. Honestly, very nice of Creator to pull out a build that soO will have played against a billion times before his military service, but this still went super well. You usually expect the Archons to get like a couple of Overlords, maybe even a couple of drones. We'll see if Creator can get some stuff done. It looks like he is Creator after all. The Lings go back in. Okay, DTs are here now. They will keep this base alive. I do like the DT defense. And yeah, Creator's still going to be annoying with this. He could try to trade out with some Roaches as well. Archons do not do poorly against Roaches, but he's got to be careful. The Queens can take this Prism down very quickly. Trying to over-micro those Archons could be a problem. Especially if the Lings end up coming back. Sometimes if you're not sure where the Lings are. They're not great against Archons, but if they get a surround, they can stop the Archons from moving and make things a little bit dicier. As it is, Creator's getting Immortals out and he has Charge on the way. It makes me feel like he wants to just go for a big, like, 3-base attack. Charge, Let Archon, Immortal. 4 more gates on the way. I'm really getting that vibe right now. So soO is going to have to be very prepared for this. Now, he is getting a bunch of Roaches out. He's got Roach Speed +1 on the way. I think if he just goes like heavy Ling Roach Ravager, soO should be in a decent spot here. He's on 65 drones. He's got a 4th base coming up. Archons again, poking and prodding, but will get pushed away. Ling is trying to run in, but they will get caught and taken care of. Still no other tech here from Creator, so this is looking it's looking very much like it's pressure time as he's moving out with the Prism and the army, or at least most of the army. soO's spreading some creep forward, but he's got to keep pumping those units out, and he's doing exactly that. Look at that army supply, man. 58 to 116. That feels so good for soO. But I'll tell you, this army of Creator is very powerful, and soO needs to be super careful against it. Yeah, I love just holding this position on top of the ramp here. I don't think Creator can bust up him. soO's trying to hit him from the backside as well. Oh, and this is just beautiful. He traps him. Force field's going down, trying to delay this army from closing in on Creator, but it is going to happen now. Creator just needs some micros hard out, trying to pick up these Immortals, drop them, avoid the Biles. Some Biles connecting there. The 4 Immortals, is it 5 Immortals? It's hard to tell. It's going to be a lot less pretty soon here, as Creator can only fit 2 in the Prism at a time, and he is just going to lose absolutely everything. soO, with the good old Roach Boy strat of we just build a bunch of roaches. Yeah, it works out pretty well. Holds on against that big 3-base attack from Creator, and man, that really felt like a 2018 PVZ. That was a throwback right there. Creator and soO giving us a classic. The Archon drop, the DT into Archon drop, basically getting nothing done, put Creator in a really tight spot. His only hope at that point was that soO tried to over tech or over drone. I don't think Creator was necessarily counting on soO to do, I guess, again, the most soO thing he could have, which is go up to 66 drones and then just build roaches, which was exactly the correct response to what Creator was doing. Creator's trying to hit just a really nice timing. And again, a lot of Zerg players might get caught with their pants down, where they're like, all right, you went to a 3rd base. I'm going to go to a 4th base. I'm going to spread my creep. I'm going to go up to 78 workers and go into a hive. And then that army hits you right at that point. And you're like, oh, don't have any units for that. soO, though, he skipped all that. He was like, I'm actually just going to build units. Just build them. Roaches. It is sad that soO is teamless. It is sad. That just means that there's a team out there that's going to be so lucky to be able to pick this guy up. As spawning in the lower left-hand corner of Solaris, tying the matchup 1-1, it is soO. His opponent in the upper right-hand corner is, of course, Creator. Question from chat. Do you think soO got worse or everyone else got better? Well, I would imagine that while he was doing his military service for, 18 months or 2 years or so, however long that ended up being, he wasn't able to practice quite as much. So I would say he probably lost a step or two in that regard. Also, if you're not playing constantly at the forefront of the meta like you're used to being, it can be a little tougher to, read the game and understand the game state in a lot of situations. If new things come up, new things arise, right? Where maybe at one point it would have been just easy for you to use your intuition. I think soO is a very intuitive player. That intuition gets hurt by not even not practicing as much, but not playing in tournaments, because no matter how much you practice, you're not going to get the same level of competitive play on ladder or in customs as you would in tournaments, which is why, yes, it's nice to win money, but why we see a lot of players playing in weekly tournaments and stuff, because even there's a little bit more of a sense of competitive nature, I feel like. So you get kind of better practice. Meta can shift more during tournaments, right, than it will just on the ladder. So when you're not playing in tournaments, you do kind of miss out on that, and it can be tough for a lot of players to catch back up. It can take a lot of focus and a lot of time. Sometimes it doesn't matter as much, depending on the styles you play. But generally speaking, that's where a lot of players tend to struggle coming back from their military service. At least in my experience. Also, you get older, and you do other things with your time. They might have just like enjoyed spending their free time doing something other than playing StarCraft. 8 hours a day. It does happen. Also, pretty much everybody continues to improve in StarCraft. That is generally true, I would say. Yeah, I feel like the skill level overall tends to just improve. At least so far in StarCraft, I think that's the case. I think there probably will come a point where that won't be the case anymore, but right now, I feel like we're just still seeing players get better and better. This is shockingly similar to last game where 3 drones went down for those 2 adepts. Oh, 1 Ling went down this time too. It's an improvement for Creator. Or that was game 1 that happened, sorry. But soO again, going to counterattack with the Lings. Going to force Creator to play a little defensively until he gets enough units out to deal with this. Ooh, one of the queens sleeping on the job over here. This Oracle is going to go ahead and get 3, 4, 5 kills before getting out of there. Has a good amount of hit points as well. Oh my god, it even pops a larva. Yeah, I do think that the skill level will continue to improve in StarCraft. Really, the only thing that can stop the overall skill level from improving, I think, is if pretty much every top player stopped playing, which I don't really see happening. Like, if they all stop playing at once, I think the skill level would stagnate, at least for a while. But, yeah, I don't really foresee that happening. And that's why, as you said, Tread, that, like, the Brood War skill level has continued to increase. I was just trying to think of, like, some other competitive games, too. Something like Smash Bros. I feel like the skill level there, it has always gotten better. Like, even in Melee, that game's been out for like 1 billion years, and Nintendo's been trying to stop the pro scene from existing for just as long. And yet, players are just getting better and better, right? Like, it still just feels like there's improvement consistently. Whew. Now, Creator, he's tryhard in this one. He is really focusing on this early game harassment being as annoying as possible. He's gotten 16 drone kills. The Lings did find a couple more adepts, but this has been so nice for Creator this early game. Even some lost mining time off the back of it. And he's going into Blink and +1 again, so this is Creator being like, all right, game 1 worked, let's just do that again. But this time, better harassment to start out with, which can make it a lot harder for soO to hold on in the middle part of the game. We did see Creator's pressure in game 1. Actually, that was very close to being a problem for soO. Uh-oh. Whoa. Oh, is that us? Oh, ping's looking okay over here. I don't like big lag spikes. That's scary. Anyways. We did see that push for Creator in game 1 cause some problems for soO, and that was without the incredibly good early game harass. So let's see how this goes. This Creator's going to push right back in, just like he did last time. This time, though, Blink is done. He's going to be able to grab a queen, grab a roach. soO will still hold on. This is not going to be like a game-ending moment here, but it's just that much more annoying to deal with. And, oof, Creator coming in at the same time with a couple of oracles. Once again, going to grab 2, 3 drones, get out of there, and then move back in with the stalkers. Some Lings are here as well. This makes it a little bit more annoying for the stalkers, but Slings are just fodder. They are not going to last super long. And then the stalkers can just get on out of here. They are faster than the roaches. They do not need to stick around and fight. Oh, but they're going to blink on top of this. Hold on. hold the phone here, soO. Uh-oh, I don't know if he's got enough here, guys. This is looking mighty deadly. That's a lot of Blink Stalkers coming in. They cleaned up all the Lings, and then they said those Roaches are not getting away to join up with their reinforcing friends. Immediately jumping on them. The Oracle's coming in to help, just targeting down Roaches, not even worrying about the Queens. Who cares about the Queens? The Roaches are the real threat. But I don't think there's going to be enough Roaches. Creator reinforcing with more Stalkers. He's got the Warp Prism on the high ground. And I think this is just about it. It looks like Creator is going to be able to take down soO in this round of 16 match. Blinks forward again. soO is trying desperately to hold on, but we see that army supply just falling and falling. In the meantime, Creator's building Colossi. He's got +2 on the way. He is doing just fine. soO was trying to get into a hive. He was trying to tech up. He just wasn't ready for this amount of commitment from Creator, who decided, hey, this is looking like a good opportunity. I'm just going to warp in a bunch more Stalkers and keep on Blink Micro, and GG. Creator wins game 3 there off the back of some excellent early game harass and some fantastic Blink Micro as well. soO, despite being a longtime fan favorite and always one of my favorite players, unfortunately, going to get knocked out in the round of 16 this week by Creator. GG.